Lanbin is here. Lanbin has made the first previous presentation while you were here. So you're making this is a follow up from that presentation you made, I think 2-3 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago, right? So this is an improvement of the previous one with new set of research questions, right? So let me see. I've gone through your PowerPoints, but I'd like to listen to your presentation and have a discussion on the presentation and the PowerPoint. Okay, Lanbin,
yeah,
you can start now.
Yeah. Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Professor. My title is the Urban-Rural Disparity in the Development of Compulsory Education in China. Comparative study of financial inputs in Heilongjiang province. Okay. Contents: 1. Introductions. 2. Literature review. 3. Research methodologies. 4. Reference. 1. Introduction. This study, rooted in public management, examines urban-rural disparities in financial inputs for compulsory education and the mechanism of their conversion during policy implementation using Heilongjiang province. Using Heilongjiang province as a case.
Use your cursor, your pointer. Use your cursor.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. 可以吧? Yeah, okay. Using Heilongjiang province as a case, its analysis how uneven fiscal allocation affects educational conditions and student performance through resource mobilization, efficiency, and institutional execution. The analytical framework draws on resource mobilization theory and institutional theory, complemented by sociological in science, cultural capital, and social capital to imply how social structures constrain resource conversion, offering institutional and practical implications for fiscal policy and educational equity. 1.1 Background. In China, significant disparities in fiscal inputs for compulsory education persist. In 2022, rural schools in Heilongjiang province received only RMB 8,021 yuan per student, 65.8% of the urban level. Despite the provincial coordination fiscal reform in 2019, salary gaps and low resource and utilization remain. From a public management perspective, these issues reflect institutional bottlenecks between fiscal allocation and policy education. Sociological studies further indicate that rural depopulation, school closures, and high teacher turnover exacerbate the difficulty of converting fiscal inputs into educational outcomes. 1.2 Scope of the study. Time scale 2080 to 2023 years. Research area: Province Heilongjiang. Comparison of urban levels: Harbin, Suihua, and Mohe, and compounding county and rural areas. Sampling ranks faulty primary and secondary schools in urban and rural areas. Interviewees: 50 teachers, 10 parents, 20 students. 1.3 Problem statement. Urban-rural compulsory education exhibits equal inputs and conditions gaps. Post-provincial coordination, reform salary gaps, and low resource use process, showing institutional bottlenecks between allocation and execution. Series in web of Sains, Scopus, and CNKI use physical input and educational equity, show that most students are micro-qualitative, lacking school-level conversion analysis. Gap. Field analyzes the interplay of low mobilization efficiency and weak execution, or combines social structural physicals to explainable conversion. 1.4 Research question and research objective. Research question 1. What are the main problems of urban-rural physical disparities in compulsory education in Heilongjiang province, and how are these disparities shown across regions and school levels? 2. What are the effects of these physical disparities? Do the mechanism of resource mobilization and institutional execution on educational conditions and students' academic performance, and what are the key mitigating factors and causal pathways? 3. What policy recommendations can be derived from this research? Research objective. 1. Define and study the main forms of urban-rural physical disparities in compulsory education in Heilongjiang province, and to show how these disparities appear in different regions and school levels. To evaluate the effects of financial disparities, so the mechanisms of resource mobilization and institutional execution on educational conditions, and studies academic performance, and to identify the key mitigating factors and causal pathways. To propose policy recommendations based on the research findings, to optimize physical governance and promote equity in urban-rural compulsory education. Why Heilongjiang? Policy firm 2029 provincial coordination aimed to reduce urban-rural gaps, yet disparities persist. Representative case. And there is urban-rural regional conditions able multi-dimensional comparison. Data access, research physical audit, and education data, and field interviews, subjects in-depth qualitative analysis. Research significance. The significance of the research in this thesis is theoretical contribution. From a public management perspective, this study integrates resource mobilization theory and institutional theory to develop a meso-level analytical framework linking physical inputs, institutional education, and educational outcomes. It incorporates social structural factors to explain variations in resource corruption, addressing gaps in theoretical integration and school-level conversion mechanism research. Practical significance. The study identifies key bottlenecks between physical allocation and policy education. Official actionable governance recommendations for fiscal policy optimization, educational resource allocation, and educational equity in disadvantaged areas. Innovation integrates resource mobilization theory and institutional theory into a meso-level framework with social structural variables, various public management and technologies supported by multi-source evidence.
我还在熟悉你使用音频 App 的偏好，你想用
1.6 Theoretical orientation. This study is grounded in the public management perspective, focusing on governance mechanisms, fiscal policy execution, and institutional capacity in compulsory education. Resource mobilization theory. It has how organizational capacity, willingness to mobilize and implementation suggests determine the effective use of educational funds. Institutional theory reveals how symbolic, complex and realistic implementation weaken policy outcomes, especially in rural schools with limited resources. To solution expression, the study selectively incorporates relevant sociological concepts such as social capital, demographic shifts, and community participation as contextual variable in influencing governance performance. These concepts supplement rather than replace the public management framework. By inductively integrating these perspectives through qualitative comparative analysis, the research constructs a context-grounded model linking physical input, governance processes, and education outcomes, exploring, for instance, how a market rural education funds in Heilongjiang failed to improve learning outcomes due to format local governance and symbolic policy compliance rather than applying a theoretical framework. Concept pathway for theory building. Okay, this picture shows my study pathway. It explains how many different affect student learning academic from performance. First, schools get different money. Some schools get more, some get less for students, for teachers, and for buildings. Second, we see how the money is used. For example, if the budget is already spent, and experiential funds are used as planned. Third, this affects the school classroom conditions and teacher quality. Four, these things influence study and student study and examinations. So the pathway is money leaders to how money is used, then affects school and teachers, and finally studies the students. I found this from 3 regions, 15 schools and 45 interviews. First for input, outcome pathway. Okay, in that study built from comparative analysis of urban-rural schools in Heilongjiang, integrating resource mobilization theory and institutional theory from a public management perspective. Figure explanation, public management perspective, from resource mobilization theory and institutional theory. Physical disparities undermine resource mobilization and lead to symbolic public implementation, which in turn causes poor school conditions and low teacher quality, and producing weaker academic performance. Key points, cases. Combines physical and institutional gaps, intermediaries, resource mobilization, governance, competitive infrastructure, teacher quality. Maxims to this pathways coverage on the same outcome. Core message input is not equal to outcome. What matters is effective governance and genuine implementation. Two, literature review. Urban-rural physical disparities in compulsory education. This page refers since 2019 significant urban-rural funding gaps persist in Heilongjiang, affecting teacher allocation, infrastructure quality, and study performance. Resource mobilization theory in education funds. Physical input alone do not guarantee improved outcomes. Organizational capacity, resource mobilization, capacity, and willingness and implementation strengths are key to converting funding into effective educational resources. Institutional theory and policy implementation. In rural context, symbolic compliance and pro-altruism and realistic implementation undermine policy effectiveness, with funds often meeting audit requirements rather than reproving teaching conditions. Integrating theories in context aspects analysis. Exciting studies on competing resource mobilization and institutional theory focus on macro level patterns, will address physical disparities and school level execution together. This study advises in integration through case-based, context-grounded analysis, policy, public management perspective. 3. Research methodology. 3.1. Inductive research strategy starts from speculative case to generate principles through observation and analysis. Inductive qualitative approach analyzing physical input patterns to reveal institutional and governance dynamics, generalizing to apply urban rural disparities. Public management perspective captures policy dynamics, stakeholder interactions, and structural inequalities for context-rich evidence. Policy document analysis. Post-2090 Heilongjiang fiscal policies assesses resource allocation, implementation, equity. Semi-structured interviews. Teachers, parents, students explore service provision and performance and physical gaps. This multi-level evaluation directly supports the research innovations in cross-disciplinary integration, multi-level comparison, and mechanism-first analysis. Data analysis and triangulation for framework. This analysis, applying thematic analysis informed by resource mobilization theory and institutional theory to examine the interaction between physical resource mobilization and institutional implementation. Triangulation across various policy documents, semi-structured interviews, and official statistics to enhance credibility, policy relevance, and decision-making reliability. Triangular framework integration. Data sources, multi-sources evidence combining institutional records, stakeholder impressions, and objective physical or educational data. Covers 3 regions: Harbin, Xinhua, Mohe, 15 schools, and 40 interviewees. From the basis for multi-regional, urban, rural, and school-level comparisons methods. The mix and comparative analysis to identify and verify urban, rural, and regional patterns. Theory, application of resource mobilization and institutional theory to apply policy institutionalizing and implementation, ensure reliability and minimizing interpretative bias. The significance of the choice is that 3 elements mutually support and cross-verify one another, ensure that the research conclusions are grounded in data, reflected by methodological rigor and underpinned by theoretical application. Inductive research 4 key steps. Data collation. Gather policy documents, official statistics and structured interviews with key stakeholders. The coalition is the thing to capture physical, institutional, and performance dimensions of for Harvey's analysis. 2. Data analysis. Actually, the meta-analysis and comparative analysis to identify patterns and verify them across urban, rural, and regional contexts. 3. Theoretical interpretation. Use resource mobilization theory and institutional theory to apply resource mobilization, policy institutionalization, and implementation. Triangulation driven conclusion. Regulation interests consistence among data matters and theory, enhancing reliability and reliability. Based on this, conclusions are drawn, highlighting contributions to public management, practice and theory. 3.2 research participants and sampling stage purpose. Analysis urban rural physical disparities and their impact on students' academic performance. Integrating resources mobilization theory and institutional theory to link resource mobilization, institutional execution, and educational equity. Sampling structure enables innovative comparative analysis across governance, resource mobilization, and educational outcomes. One interview subjects regions Harbin, 水化漠河 chemistry region diversity and urban rural context schools. Faculty institutions across urban and rural settings. Participants, teachers, faculty, 10 parents, 20 students. Ensuring the stakeholder perspectives. 2. Interview format. Semi-structured, open-ended, face-to-face and online, 20 to 30 minutes each. 3. Interviews highlights. Physical input and resource allocation equity, exploring the efficiency of resource mobilization, teaching collaboration and infrastructure, implementing capacity building and educational environment, policy implementation effectiveness, assessing institutional execution and governance comparative, academic performance impacts, including motivation, achievement, dropout rate, and the quality of learning outcomes for data collection and analysis. Audio and analysis, thematic and comparative analysis. Link the findings to theories to apply governance and equity outcomes. Okay, for the first, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. This is the sounding and interest region. Yeah. Yeah, and degeneration. Yeah. Interpretation mathematics. One, two, three, four, five, and ask a teacher, parent, student some questions. Yeah. So this are the data. Yeah. Okay. So research gap innovation in I think maybe you ask me, yeah, I maybe you ask me your question. Yeah, you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So different parts to my comments to your presentation just now, right? Okay, there are certain things that I'd like you to explain. That's one. The other one is the PhD worthiness, the theoretical contribution. That part is another one that I do want to understand more, and also your methodology. So it looks like you have a very extensive methodology you employ, right? So there's another one on us. Then the other one has to do with your communication with the presentation, right? Now, let me ask certain concepts that I'm not sure I really understand yet. What do you mean by symbolic? What you talk about? Symbolic policy implementation. What do you mean by symbolic?
Okay. 那个叫什么来着？那个理论叫 institutional theory and theory and 那个 mobilization theory。你问我用什么理论吗？
What is symbolic policy implementation? You have that term just now. Symbolic policy implementation.
Policy implementation 公共
政策，这个单词
policy 政策
应用
政策的应用。
It's in your presentation, it's in your slides. You use the word symbolic policy
它是用
implementation. You look at your
替
slides,
代
you
一
see
个
that.
symbolic
policy
symbolic
Who's controlling? Lanbin is controlling the slide, okay. It's in the Lanbin, your slide.
在你的 slides 上
嗯，
找到那个 symbolic 是什么？哪一页来着？
没有啊。
Streaming is good so far. So it's good. Oh, you're testing it. Okay, good. Streaming also depends on the capacity of the laptop, right? Probably after your research questions, after somebody is
research questions
Research questions, research questions, research questions, research questions.
的后面
后面
前面
在前面
就这两样。
对。
Can you do search? Can you search it? Control S.
in
Search.
commentations as on the research finding.
Huh? Yeah. You found symbolic policy implementation. Just search. Search your slides. Can you search your slides? Try it. Control F. Symbolic. Try type that. Control F. And try that. Control F.
Ctrl 加 F，Ctrl 加 F 搜索那个 symbolic。
Try that. Try to find it.
哎
Can you get?
，no，哎，搜索不了啊。
搜索不能直接搜索你的 PPT 里搜索。
PPT 搜索。
Cannot find it. Okay. Let's go from the beginning so that we can find it, right? Let's go from the beginning.
PPT，那就只能 PPT 搜索。
到你的 PDF。
PDF 不行啊，得用
应该可以吧？我也不是很清楚。
不行吧？啊，在这。哎，
在里面搜 symbolic。
再往前。policy。
Whole thing is in Chinese.
Symbolic。
Symbolic.
Symbolic 怎么写
Symbolic. Symbolic.
我俩都不会写这个单词。
S Y S Y.
policy.
B O I L C.
Yeah.
Yeah. Search.
Yeah.
Search.
Symbolic research.
Can you find it?
Just so symbolic.
No, you don't need just symbolic. You can find symbolic. You can find it. Okay. There. Symbolic. See slide number 12.
Oh,
Slide
sorry.
number 12.
Oh, okay.
哦，
symbolic thing, yeah.
Yes.
symbolic policy implementation.
Okay, what is symbolic policy implementation?
它用的这个是啥？
Between interactionist and a bit of structural. What is that?
他没看懂说这个是啥。
象征意义的对呀，象征意义的文件，
这究竟是啥？
就是政府的文件，政府的。
他们是啥？
我看啊，input 1、2、7，就是政府的文件，就是政府的文件怎么说？政府出台的文件，应该是叫the documents issued by the government.
Say that again. Say that again.
The
documents
issued by the government.
documents issued by government.
对。
That is symbolic policy implementation.
问你说这个是啥？
对呀，它这个不是象征，中文叫象征性的政策文件问题。
Oh, you're gonna present to the committee.
我也不知道是啥项目。
就是政府出台的文件呢，就是那个2090，哎，我这在哪搜来着？2090，我把这个给啊 ，OK， ，2090的这个出台了一个这个 OK，2090 Policy Coordination 这个。 就出了当时2019年出了一个文件，然后那个文件就是针对黑龙江省的那个yes 黑龙江 police。
If you can explain what is it? Suppose I'm the committee right now. I ask you what is symbolic policy implementation. It's not a small thing in your slides, but a big thing in your slide, right? Part of the framework. So you want it to be able to explain it to me. You must be able to explain to me what. I also do not know what.
Oh, I searched that in the policy there are two different policy. One is the symbolic policy, which is just some words, but it's another is the substantive policy.
Okay, so Lanbin needs to explain it to me. Right, Lanbin?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The committee will ask you, what the committee will ask highlight, right? So you will need to know all the words that you put, especially the keywords. The keywords, when you put in there, you will need to be able to explain what the keywords are. Right? So you will need to know what those keywords are. Right? Then we ask another. My boss is very good. I think you're capturing it well then. Even though you have like two camera. Okay, so Lanbin, the other question I have is your methodological question, right? You have a framework, right? You have a framework. You have a few frameworks, by the way. You have a few analytical framework. So this is okay. This is one example. The slide before this. Yeah, the slide before this. Go to the slide. Okay, go to the slide. So this is, you have the conceptual pathway for theory building. Okay, so you have this. You want to look at the physical disparity. You want to, and then you want to use resource mobilization efficiency to look at it, and then the school conditions and the teacher quality, and then you have the students' academic performance. Right? You have something like this, and then you have another framework, which is the framework after this slide. After this slide, you have another framework, right? Okay. So you have a framework too, right? Another framework. And then how is inductive? You say you use inductive research strategy. You actually have a framework already to explain your data, right? Inductive research, you do not have the framework yet. You do not have the theory yet with inductive framework, right? Inductive research. So how could you come up with this one? Why do you say you use inductive research? Let me ask you that question. Why do you use inductive research?
这个不是现成的，这是通过，就是它是一个中间的，就是通过归纳和看文献 interview 的基础上，然后总结出来的，然后这个是它的一个路径。
I don't understand.
对对对，然后
I don't understand. You're gonna explain to me what do you mean by inductive research? It's okay. We put aside all this framework. What do you understand with inductive research? You're gonna explain to me.
He said he will follow the pathway to do the same way like inductive to build his own framework.
Yeah, but Lanbin has to explain to
构
me.
建的一个嘛。
You gotta explain to me, Lanbin. In my medical committee, highlight is not there. You gotta explain to me, right? What?
解释这个问题，就是
You have to
如
explain
果
to
那
me
个如果
why do you use
那个
inductive
考官
research?
问你这里有 framework 的，你为什么还用 inductive？
Why do you use
回答
inductive?
这个问题。
Right? You have developed something like this. This doesn't look like inductive anymore. This looks like deductive. Because deductive, you come up with a framework and you kind of test the framework, right? You have different theories, right? Using mobilization, resource mobilization. I was just suggesting to you last time, but it's good that you want to use that one. It's fine. And institutional theory, you use both of them, right? And then develop a framework based on both of them. So that is not quite inductive research anymore. That's has become a deductive research. So when you combine these two and you develop a research design based on these two, kind of a conceptual framework, conceptual framework. So that is no longer inductive; it becomes deductive, right? So that your research is not inductive research; it's deductive because you are using a framework that is derived from theories. So you're actually collecting data based on a theory, based on two theories, right? So that is deductive. That's not inductive anymore.
变相 deductive。
So
他们
So you will need to replace the word inductive with deductive because you use two theories. Right? Another thing I'd like to ask is still about research methodology or your methods, right? You say you use semi-structured interview. What do you mean by semi-structured interview? I understand, but I like you to explain to me what do you think? What do you mean by semi-structured interviews?
Semi-structured interviews means
我觉得我用翻译软件要真的是不行，对不？什么 interview？
你就先发到那个 PPT 吧，先发那个interview那个 PPT， 再说的。很早了。interview 在 methodology。
In your research methodology, right? Research methodology, you have that. Somewhere there, if I'm not mistaken, there, somewhere there. You have that?
Semi-structured.
Is it there? Semi-structured interviews, yeah. Right. What do you mean by semi-structured interview? Or semi-structured interviews?
解释
就是通过怎么说？我是不是应该翻译成英语？我看英语说 收集通过这些对象，可能对象收集的数据，对，收集，Okay, college data through interviewees, teachers, parents, students.
You say that again? Repeat that?
College data through interviews, teachers, parents, students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah, it's for service provision and performance and physical depth.
collecting data through interviews. However, you use the word semi-structured. You didn't use the word interview, right? There's semi-structured, there's also structured, there's also in-depth interviews or unstructured interviews, right? So when you say semi-structured interviews, you need to understand, what do you mean by semi-structured, right? Because the structure, which is, the other one is semi-structured, the other one is unstructured or in-depth interviews, just open, right? So I'm asking you, what do you understand with semi-structured interview and why do you use that? So you will need to be able to explain that a bit. It's okay, you don't have to explain to me, but you will need to be able to explain to me. Yeah? So now that said, if it's inductive research, it's best not to use semi-structured. It's best to use in-depth interviews or unstructured interviews. Because inductive is very close to abductive. Inductive is getting the interviews to explain things as much as possible, but you construct the theory yourself, right? So, if you are using inductive, but if your research is using deductive research, it's okay to use semi-structured. It's also okay to use structured interviews, right? You will need to understand. So when they ask you what semi-structured interview, you need to be able to answer me, what is structured, what is semi-structured, right? Those are actually very basic. This is like, standard 1, standard 2, standard 3 question for methodology, right? So you must know that, right? These are, and you need to be able to explain to me, okay, with that. So these are things that you need to, be able to explain to me, right? Or more importantly, to the committee later on. Let's look at your problem statement. Problem statement. See, I have not gone deep into your research yet. I'm going through all this explanation, all this more targeted comments. Problem statement. Problem statement should be out there before even the theoretical orientation. Before that. Yeah. Okay, so problem statement. So in your problem statement, you say searches in Web of Science, Corpus, CNKI, using physical input and educational equity, so that most studies are macro quantitative, lacking in school level conversion analysis. So usually in problem statement, we do not put that kind of sentence, right? That statement, we do not put that kind of statement in problem statement, right? Problem statement is to is a paragraph or 2 paragraphs to explain what the academic problem is, how do you problematize your studies,
这句话
right?
不要放这儿。
Is this relevant? It can be relevant what you said about the Web of Science, Corpus, CNKI, right? But then again, your search should not be limited to Scopus, Web of Science, or CNKI, right? You should be able to argue out that studies previously have looked at the macro level, not at the meso level, you know. Argue it out, not just like this, right? You want to make the argument about what you're researching is an academic problem. You know what I mean? You got to show that all this while the research has focused on this and this. The problem on the ground is something else. All the theories cannot explain it yet. That is how you write a problem statement, right? And why it is important to understand the way that you want to research this problem, right? So to show how your research is important academically, conceptually, that's what problem statement is, right? So you're highlighting an academic problem. You don't just want to say this, and this is not how you put in a slide problem statement. So you need to improve your problem statement. If you're not sure how problem statement is written, you can look at your friends, look at examples and how it's written. This is not how it's written. Right? So, okay, let me go to other aspects of your presentation. Let me look at the sampling. The sampling.
到那个往上，抽样就是小学来做访谈的，半节课访谈。
Yes. From the beginning just now, there were confusion. You go before problem statement. You go before problem statement. I think your sampling, there's a few slides that you talk about sampling. Go before your problem statement. The slides before your problem statement.
Before?
Before your problem statement, yes. Okay. Before. Just scroll up further, scroll further, scroll up, go up. Go up further, go up further, go up further, further up, further up. Further. See, it looks like I know your slides better than you know your slides. Go up further. Further up. Up. Further up. Don't go down. 再上去，再上，
上没有了，所以我在
上。Problem statement there, stop there. Okay. You see that you have your scope of study there. You have sampling range. 15 primary and secondary schools in urban rural areas. And then you have interviews. 15 teachers, 10 interviewees. So, usually when we talk about scope of study, we do not really talk about the sampling of interviewees. We are just talking about geographical parameters. We talk about more institutional matters, not the interviewees yet. So when you put this here, right, then I didn't have questions. Wow, there are 15 teachers, 15 primary schools, right? It looks like each primary school, you have 15 primary school and secondary schools, right? So you have 15 teachers. So my mind will ask, is it one school, one teacher? You want to do that or what you do? So it's not clear. So and then we talk about 15 primary school and secondary schools in urban and rural areas. So is it 15 in primary school, 15 in secondary school, or 15 in urban areas, 15 in rural areas? So it is not clear. Right? So you just say the scope of study, talk about the time scale, you talk about the research area, that's good enough. But if you talk about the sampling, you got to go more specific, right? You put the sampling under methodology. Put the sampling and interviews under methodology. Here is not clear. Right? Here is not clear. So you go down to your methodology. Go down to your methodology, Lanbin. Go down to your methodology. I need to communicate with you, and you need to understand me. Right? Methodology, when you talk about when you talk about interviewees, where do you talk about interviewees? Here, okay. Alright. So here you have 15 institutions across urban and rural settings. So how many in urban, how many in rural? Specify that. How many in rural, how many urban? Is it 7 in urban, 8 in rural? You got to specify that.
Together 30.
15, okay. 15 in urban, 15 in rural, or?
No. Rural and urban together 30.
15.
So rural 10, urban 5.
5, okay. Then you got to write it down.
Rural.
Then I will ask you, why rural only 10, urban 5? It's not balanced.
So 5 urban is very good now. So rural is now question is very 问题更严重，就是因为城市的。
So you do not want to have that question. You want to say I'm choosing 5 rural, 5 urban, or 10 rural, 10 urban. Otherwise, the examiner will say, why do you have all this? And then you cannot explain it, right? It's difficult, right? So it's very systematic. Social science is a science. There's a science behind it, right?
I call 10, I call 10.
Yeah, you choose 10 here, you choose 10 here. 5 or 5, right? So, and then you will say, teachers 15. 15 in urban, 15 in rural, or 5 urban, you got to specify it, right? Specify. Same with the students, same with the, right? Same with the teachers, same with the parents, right? You got to specify, make it the same. Make it the same, right? And so that you do not have problems. Okay. Interview format. You have that semi-structured, open-ended. Semi-structured is not open-ended. Right? So this is where you got to be clear. Are you choosing open-ended or semi-structured? So if you are doing deductive research, maintain semi-structured to open-ended. Right? Okay.
你把它去掉就可以了，对不对？
Okay. Let me go to the essence, the substance of your research. Right? At this point, it is not clear what your significant theoretical contribution is. What are you doing? It cannot be your research, because it's a PhD research, cannot be just about resource mobilization plus institutional theory. That you're not coming up with a new original contribution. So you got to come up with some. You got to explain better. You got to come up and say, this is a new framework to study the schools, to study the physical disparity. You got to show that this framework doesn't exist yet, and what is original about this framework. Now you have something there. You talk about the meso level. So develop a better, a stronger, a theoretically new meso level framework of analysis. You can use resource mobilization, ideas and variables from there. You can use institutional theory, the ideas, the principles, or the constructs from institutional theory. But you need to build something that is not been studied before. But then that makes your study original. So you say resource mobilization has studied from this angle, institutional studied from this angle, but no one has used resource mobilization, institutional theory, and my own input to study the meso level, right? So there's a macro, there's a meso, there's a micro. And why is it important to study the meso level? That should be your problem statement, and that would lead to your theoretical contribution. So that should be, That should be something that you want to research and collect data on. The meso level explanation about the disparity between these two secondary schools, right? So that is you want to highlight that. So I did not get that from your research just now. So what is the theoretical significance of that, right? You actually talk about it. If you go to your theoretical contribution or theoretical orientation, can you go back there, Lanbin?
Contribution.
Somewhere that you did explain something that I'm not sure where you explained, but I kind of captured that.
就理论贡献那个。
Is it there? I'm not sure. Is it? Yeah, hold on. Maybe it's here. Somewhere here, you talk about men, right? You talk about that. It's like
resource mobilization express use of resource in situational theory express symbolic implementation. Together, they imply input is not equal to outcome. So I use the triangulation policy down comments, statistics and interviews, findings cause verified each other. Yeah. So I built a meso level framework linking finance, institutions and outcomes. It combines public management and social logic feeding of that.
okay. So making that the central.
Together public and social.
Okay, so you make that meso level measurement, the meso level framework as the center of your theoretical piece, So you highlight that one. I think you did talk about meso level somewhere here. I'm not sure this one or not. But you want to highlight that one. Okay, so
mobilization theory and institutional theory now say 那个 input is not equal to outcomes. Yeah. So many people research input IQ outcomes. 等于so I raise 是不等 not IQ input not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things you want to do is that your logic is a deductive logic, a deductive research strategy, not inductive anymore because you are using theories, right? And you're developing something here, and you're questioning resource mobilization, institutional theory. So you're using a meso level. So these are the things that you can highlight as your theoretical contribution and your research. What is it? Your research problem, or your problem statement, research problem, your problem statement. You want to highlight that part. That what comes in, the input doesn't equal output, right? The input is not output. And what do you consider is input? What do you consider is output? You want to say that? And why do you think meso level analysis to look at the school system is an important part, right? So not just macro, but the meso level. So talk about it, write about it, and make it a centerpiece of your research. You can even put that in your title, yeah, meso level analysis or something, right? You can, your title actually would talk about meso level, whatever. You can think about that and put in your title. So the examiners, when something they read it, they know, okay, this research is about the meso level analysis or something, right? So it's your research, so you can write it the way you want to write it, but you want people to understand, the examiners to see, oh, this is the research you're doing. So it's not a general research, it's very focused research. Right? Okay, the final thing I want to convey to you, Lanbin, is this, that ultimately you will have one big challenge that you want to overcome, and that is your communication, your English, right? So the committee will ask you questions, you do not you don't understand what they ask, they might not know, to explain. So that is very important. I'm concerned that because of that they will fail you, because they say, I cannot ask you a question, you don't understand my question, that kind of thing. But you might have the ideas, but you cannot express it, or you can explain it, right? So that's one. The other one that you can immediately work on is your presentation. You can practice many times. And it is the Chinese culture, Chinese tradition, that you can practice, and you have the discipline of practice. That's how this whole Chinese education system is about practicing. Last time the Mandarins, the Guan, right, they tie their hair to the ceiling, right?
头悬梁，头悬梁，头悬梁，
they tie it to the ceiling, and they will go read and read, right? Many times, right? That's a Chinese tradition. They work hard. They can. You can do that. It's in your blood. Chinese can do that. Right? So practice it many times. A lot of the words over here you mispronounce, and it is not a problem. You can overcome this problem. Yeah. All you need to do is to make sure your pronunciation is correct with the presentation. Then you will win a big part of the battle. At least they understand your presentation. Then they say, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't want you do not want to have that initial impression. You want to have a good initial impression when you start your presentation. They can understand your presentation. That's why I say you use your cursor. You just practice many times that. That you can do. That is not, I'm not saying that it's not a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's not too difficult because you just make sure you can use Google or whatever to look at each word and pronounce it according to what you hear, and pronounce it, and you can test with somebody or with your friend or with somebody or some English teacher. Practice many times. Do you understand what I say? That get the person to correct your pronunciation for your presentation. So that is at least one part that you can succeed. And I know Chinese people, they can practice. You know, like the old Jackie Chan, Chen Long, you know, practice with, carry the water from bottom to top to bottom, you know. Nian Kong, right. They keep on practicing. Chinese is very good at that. You can do this. Now, the second part of the communication is about being able to understand what you've been asked and being able to, to answer. Now that has to do with you cannot memorize it. Presentation you can memorize, right? And Chinese are very good at memorization, right? One thing Chinese is good at is memorization. Is the whole exam system is about memorization, right? You have to memorize the classics, right? All the classics, right? This part, answering question, is a challenge, Lanbin. So, I'm thinking about you want to. I'm sure there are classes in China where you can practice listening and speaking. There are, right, in China? There are classes there, right? Yeah. Definitely. So you will need to work on that one. You need to practice listening and speaking many times, right? And then you can make the presentation. Otherwise, see, I ask something like this, it's hard for you to answer, and then it comes to the committee says, you cannot pass it. So I want you to succeed during the committee. You want to succeed during the proposal defense, right? So that is actually important part, the communication part. I think your whole research, you have the ideas, right? Now you just make those changes that I suggested to you, from inductive to deductive, making your theoretical contribution clearer about the meso level analysis, making your sampling clearer, those things, your problem statement, those the inputs that you've used now. I think you are formulating your research to make it much clearer and clearer now. So I can actually see your research better than before right now. So you are actually using the meso level analysis to explain why there's disparity between input and output, right? You can say that. But then the input for the rural is not too much too, right? It's still little, right? Is it enough? The physical input, Lanbin? The physical input for rural schools.
Yeah.
Is it enough?
Yeah.
Enough?
他说农村投钱投的够吗？
够吗？
Yeah, go.
Okay. So the input is enough, but the output is not good.
他说投了钱但没效果。
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to explain that, right?
So my research input no equal to
Output. You want to know why, right? So put that in your problem statement. Why is it you have so much money coming in, but the output is not the same as urban area, right? The rural is much lower than the urban, even though the urban gets the same one, right? So that should be your explanation. So that you have the meso level analysis, right? So it's a good question to ask if no one has asked that question before, right? So you want to have that explanation. Why is it the input doesn't produce the output that it should produce, right? In the rural, but it produces in the urban. It produces the output, right? So that's a simple question to ask, and you want to have theoretical explanation of that. So that is my inputs to you, is my comments to you.
Many mother, so not outcomes. Put money.
You put money, yeah.
Yeah, money, very money. Yeah. Lots of money.
A lot of money.
Yeah. So now not equal. No.
Not equal to
yeah.
output. Okay, yeah. I think that's an important question to ask, and this is from a public management. So this study is grounded in public management perspective. I got that one. So you're studying. So it's your meso level analysis is actually very relevant, I think, right? So what is happening in the school that that is not producing the results that it should produce, right? In the rural school compared to urban school. So you have urban, you have rural, comparing the two. Okay. Any questions you have, or anyone wants to share any comments? Maybe highlight, you have some thoughts, whatever. No? Yeah. You have a few of your colleagues who are studying schools or education, right? Until is one of them. Liga is studying universities. Until is studying universities. Yefeng is studying schools. Double reduction. Joanne is studying schools. Right?
Hanif.
Huh?
Hanif.
Hanif is studying schools too, yeah. CLC is school, of course, yeah. So you have 4 or 5 of you who are studying schools. So education, yeah. And you have somebody like Muzakir, Dr. Muzakir, who has graduated in study educational institution, university. So, yeah, Hanif is studying schools, so CLC, yeah. Only a different name, that's all.
Yes. Very informal.
Huh?
Informal.
Well, it's not quite informal, it's formal.
Oh.
It is formal.
Oh yeah.
It's formal, because you have all the structured curriculum, it's formal.
I forgot about that.
Right. But they cannot use the word school because in Malaysia, you use school is gazetted under Ministry of Education, or school, and you have no problem if you call it school. It becomes illegal, all of that issue. So it's
quite formal.
It's formal. It's formal.
It's formal.
Yeah. It's not. It's formal.
May I propose a device?
No, you cannot. You cannot answer the questions that I asked. How do you do that? Lanbin, you cannot. I asked, you cannot answer. If I put it there, they will shoot you and die.
Okay.
I do not want you to die. You do not want to die, right? And they say, not just that, you will go on record in CPR to say that you have failed, you have to present again. And that's not good to be in your record. You know what I mean? The record, and that record might come up during the Viva. And the Viva will say how the students doing. So there's a secretary, right? So this is the record. This is not good record to have, right? So when you're ready, I will let you do it. But your communication is vital. This is the part that you must improve. You must take it seriously and you must put a lot of effort in that one. And you can do it, right? You can do it. This is PhD level, Lanbin, so it's not, low level language anymore. Low level, English is a higher level English. And also the technical level, right? Technical. So when I ask you about semi-structure, if I ask you a simple question, you will need to be able to answer those questions. You need to be able to answer, right? And I remember last time I asked homing something that is more technical, right? I remember what is the difference between mediating variable and moderating variable. He can answer that. So he understood that. And that's actually the level, that's the level of postgraduate level to understand those terminologies. But if you cannot answer, you say, I don't understand the technical one. But if you do not understand the question, then it will be difficult. You should say, I do not know what the technical meaning is. I think this is what it is. You can say that. But if you do not answer it completely, or they cannot understand you, then we have a problem. So far, the concern we have in CPR and USM is with students from China, especially, is the language. But so far, thank God for CPR, we have examined a number of students, I think 2 or 3 right now. Zhao Lin did well. The other day was Wang Yan, I think Wang Yan was an examiner as well. Her grammar was not good, but she has content that she can answer the content, right? She can answer the content, and that's the important part, because we are not. This is not a test of English; it's a test of PhD, right? Okay, Lanbin. So, I've given you the comments. All you need to do is to improve that, and the communication part, the English part, is the important aspect. Yeah. Okay, right. So we can 7 o'clock. So we can adjourn today. Any input from the what? Yefeng and Jane and who else is there? I think Joanne was here just now. Oh, Yuan Ling was also here. Hansen, you have any comments to make? Any suggestions?
加油，蓝斌！
加油，加油！是，加油！ In Indonesia also use the word 加油.
Some people use that.
Some people use that. 加油, right? 加油.
Semangat. Semangat, right?
加油.
Add oil.
Translate literally it means add fuel. Add oil. Add petrol.
Oh, add fuel.
Right. 加油对不对？加油 add fuel.
Oh, I see. In Indonesia, maybe we can
use the car.
Gas.
But it means
Go for it.
Go for it. Yeah, you can do it. Yeah. Did I translate correctly? 加油 means to add oil, add fuel. Yeah, add fuel. Yeah. Yeah. The translation, direct translation. So a lot of it that I think in fact in Indonesia I see a lot of Chinese influence, but that has been assimilated so much.
Yes. That's right.
I mean like bakso, right? Bakso is bak is a Hokkien word for meat.
Yes. Oh, meat.
Meat. Bak
Oh, not a specific meat.
No, that is.
Some people say bak is
pork. Bak is not pork. Bak is meat. So it's like bakpia.
Bakpia.
Bakpao. Pao is Chinese for pao. Apong is pao. Chinese. So it's a lot of. I can see that. And the some dishes and I said, well, this is actually Chinese. I can see that. So the Chinese have been there long enough and assimilated. Whereas in Malaysia, it's integrated, not assimilated. Right, the Chinese will be Chinese. And
In Indonesia, it's assimilated.
Assimilated, right? Assimilated. Yeah, in Malaysia, it's integrated. That's why you have Bangsa Indonesia there, right? In Malaysia, we do not have in Indonesia, we have the Indonesian race, so to say, right? In Malaysia, we do not have Malaysian race. You have a Malaysian Chinese, Malaysian Malay, Malaysian Indian.
Only citizenship.
Citizenship, in some ways, it's not a success case, it's more like a not so successful case. In some ways, it's successful because you do not assimilate. Depending how you want to argue with that. Okay, guys, we will meet again soon. For those of you who like to make the presentation, I think Hunter WhatsApp me and communicated with Hanif. Hanif will be back on the 25th. That's next week, right? But next week, Rajih will get prepared and your Viva presentation. Okay, so
New Year is
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you wearing hats? Is it raining?
I like your hat.
It's raining.
Oh, I'm in Langkawi, not in China.
Oh, in Langkawi?
Huh?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I know you haven't been to Langkawi for so long.
I will go back soon. 2 days later, I will go back to Penang.
You like Langkawi?
Yeah, I'm in Langkawi. Let me show you.
Do you like it there?
I'm in Langkawi.
Oh, there you go. Langkawi is much more relaxed island than Penang.
And in the daytime, there's not so many people here.
No. Even the cars in Langkawi, is it still very few cars in Langkawi? Not many cars in Langkawi, right?
Yeah, not so many people now.
Okay, yeah. I like Langkawi better than Penang because it's much more relaxed and more laid back. Although people say Penang is already relaxed and laid back, but Langkawi is much more relaxed and laid back. I remember I can drive in the middle of the road, no problem. And if you rent a car over there, right? When you return the car, you just put the car key in the bottom. Because they said no one steals cars over here because they cannot steal the car and leave the island.
Here has some chocolate and much cheaper than Penang.
Oh yes, it's tax-free island. Yeah. Chocolates is cheaper. Also, Jiu is also cheaper there.
Yeah, much cheaper.
The beers and the wines and the alcohol is also cheaper there.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Because
seems like Langkawi is a good
there's no
place.
tax,
I won't
it's
go.
tax-free. Even
Yeah,
the car
Changjie, you are
is
fine.
cheaper there. But you cannot take the car out of island.
Oh,
It's tax-free island.
It's
Tax-free.
around Langkawi.
Around Langkawi. It's tax-free. So, really tax-free.
But it's part of Kedah, right?
It's part of Kedah. It's part of Kedah. It's
I should
tax-free.
go with you.
The chocolates, but chocolates you can bring out, right? Chocolates you can bring out. I think the beers and the wines, I think you can bring out also, but not the car. So imagine the car has no tax. That's the price of the cars in Langkawi. It's really cheap.
Cheap.
So it's cheap. And it's also more greener, more also mystical island there. Mystical. What's mystical? Yeah, you're not supposed to do immoral stuff in Langkawi, supposedly. Yeah. Okay, enjoy your stay there. Yeah. Okay, buy a lot of chocolates there, yeah. Buy chocolates.
I will go back soon, don't worry.
Yeah, bring back to China a lot of chocolates there. Hey, by the way, I gotta tell you all this because now it looks like in the social media there's a trending right now about Chinese tourists in Malaysia. I do not know you all know about this or not. So there's problems that they're highlighting Chinese tourists in Malaysia.
What's the problem?
There's
Yeah, I saw the news. I saw the news about the Chinese.
In social media, there's about 1.8 million Chinese tourists in Malaysia came within the last 8 months or something.
Big number.
Big number, huge number. So, this is how I look at it.
They prefer Malaysia than
all
Thailand.
you need is to have 1% of that 1.8 million, right? Creating problems, right?
Yeah.
Then people will focus on
It's
that
charming.
1%.
It's a charming country.
So if but if 1% of the 1.8 million is already what, 18,000, right? Something like that, 18,000. So there's in the social media, and this is also in the news. There's one woman coming up from the car using a knife, stabbing people. He's a student, by the way. Student in private university somewhere in KL. Maybe stressed and all that. They're cutting queues, cutting lines. There's another one. And then fighting with old men, old Chinese men, local Chinese men, fighting with the line because they're cutting queue. And the Chinese old men will say, "You should not cut queues and all that." And then we start fighting. All these things, but I take it as out of 1.8 million people, of course, you have 1% or 0.1% that's enough to create a problem, and people focus on that one. So my advice to you all is that you want to show the other side, show that Chinese tourists are polite, they go and help people, and just to show the other side of Chinese tourists. That's Chinese, because you have that 90% have no problem, right? Only that 1% maybe have a problem. Since you're a Chinese tourist, people might look at you differently, now, because it was in the social media. Social media captures the negative, right? The negative get viral more, and people will talk about the negative more, right? And it seems that the more critical people in Malaysia are the Malaysian Chinese themselves, supported by the Singaporean Chinese. The Singaporean Chinese come, they're also like that in Singapore. That one also. Singaporean Chinese also come in and comment. I was looking at what is Singaporean Chinese? We are with you, we support you, Malaysian Chinese. So the social media is a bad place to make logical arguments, right? So anyways, I'm just telling you all, since you are traveling as well, you just be cautious about that one. But, okay, guys, we call it a day. We'll meet again next week or sooner, but no, not sooner. Tomorrow is only Friday. Lanbin, you're getting back tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Okay, thank you, Rajih, for coming back and helping with the system and the YouTube.